I would say red flag, to go get checked out, even if you don't have any symptoms. Go and do it.
You're not pre-pregnant.
Oh.
Either you're diabetic or you're not. And we have to get the message out there to diabetics that there's a better way, a better lifestyle opportunity.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode here. I'm with my buddy Timothy Keller, the founder and president, or CEO of US Diabetes
Chairman,
Care.
founder, but
Chairman,
who
founder.
cares about titles?
Ooh, who cares about it? I know, bro. I get that. This man is impacting and changing lives all over the world. I know impactfully you've done business in China, Philippines, all the way back here to New York, like wherever, down the coast of all over the place. And it's been really cool to see that. Really quick, Tim, share with us.
Same cycle followed. You don't eat breakfast, you don't eat lunch. People say, well, that's great because you're intermittent fasting and you should be losing weight or feeling better, but intermittent fasting only works when you do a caloric deficit. I wasn't doing a caloric deficit. By the end of the day, I was starving. I'd go have a rich dinner, some rich drinks. Next thing you know, I'm 285 pounds.
Wow.
Asymptomatic, had no symptoms of anything, but I went to get my life insurance actually renewed, and my life insurance agent called me, which is kind of rare, and said, you need to go see your doctor. So why do I need to go see a doctor? I feel great. You have a 11.7 A1C and a fasting blood sugar of 484. Now I was smart enough in medical to know what that meant, and that meant I was a full-blown diabetic. No symptoms at all, asymptomatic the whole time.
No symptoms.
No symptoms, zero.
Wow.
And I go, wow. I go, that's crazy. So
real quick, if you're out there, that should bring up a big green flag or red flag. I would say red flag, to go get checked out, even if you don't have any symptoms. Go and do it.
yeah. Diabetes, I'd probably say 70% of people are asymptomatic, and the problem is with that is once the dominoes start falling from diabetes symptoms, it's I'm not saying it's too late, but you're running into a lot of other issues, and high blood pressure, lipidemia, congestive heart failure, heart issues, kidney issues, eye issues. I mean, what do you want? Diabetes is going to bring them all. Diabetes is actually, we've learned and gotten smarter over the years, and they're focused a lot more on that diabetes is an insulin resistance in the body that creates type 2 and type 3, and insulin resistance is all a cause that brings disease states on.
Wow.
They've come up with a thing called pre-diabetes. So I'll tell you, 2.5 of 4 Americans, including our youth, are in these numbers, are either pre-diabetic or diabetic.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's staggering.
That's
if you think about
staggering.
statistics. And the thing is a lot of juveniles are in that statistic.
Okay.
Not autoimmune type 1 that, for some reason autoimmune, their pancreas shuts down and now they're a type 1 autoimmune. I'm talking about type 2, type 3 diabetes, insulin resistance. There's 2.5 of 4 Americans that are diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Well, that's 50%.
Yeah, it's a little bit over 50%. But this is what I'll tell you. I say this all the time. You're not pre-pregnant. Either you're diabetic or you're not. And so this whole pre-diabetes thing drives me crazy, because I go, who made up this pre-diabetic world? Well, I know who made it up. Big Pharma made it up, because you know what? If we can get these diabetics in this little pre-diabetes mentality, we can sell more drugs. We can sell more insulin. We can sell more
fear, which will bring more profit.
It's the Stalin concept, right?
Wow.
You ever heard of the Stalin concept? Instill fear in people, you control the masses.
Woo. Y'all hear that? This is a lie. Maybe many of us have been sold, is that when we step into some doctor's office and they write a script and basically say, hey, you need to be taking these drugs or doing this and that, sometimes you may want to question whether you should be doing this and that.
Yeah, the processed food industry has just gotten worse.
Yeah.
The food they're making outside the outer aisles, all this processed foods in the inner aisles, right? We call it the box foods, the peanut butters and the jellies and all the stuff that's, hey, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, 30 years ago was a lot different than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich today. And so
sugar, you just told me that.
Yeah,
it's filled with sugar. Jiffy.
Tons of sugar, of the processed bread. Now with all the processed flour, sugar, the white breads, anything white, right? We say, well, we say in diabetes, anything white isn't right.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and now we're talking about white bread, white pasta, the pasta, white rice.
Not white chicken, the chicken.
Well, white chicken's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, well, we're talking about, I love the white chicken.
I love my chicken.
Yeah. There's more people that are susceptible to diabetes, but it's not a genetic disorder. I can tell you that. It's hey, guess what? If grandma and great grandma and mom and all the aunts and uncles are eating processed rich foods, and that's what you grew up eating, well, yeah, then you're going to turn on your genocodes to be more susceptible to diabetes, but it's not a genetic disorder. I don't care if you feel great, but if you have weight gain or you have midsection weight that you can't seem to get rid of, you're tired or lethargic, or anything's going on with you that just feels a little bit out of the norm, even though you're asymptomatic and diabetic symptoms, you should always get an annual checkup, get annual blood, see what's going on, making sure your numbers are clean, because obviously the greatest prevention in health is taking care of your health. Health is wealth. Right. You should be always being preventative. U.S. Diabetes Care, when I started the vision, if you guys you look up our website, usdiabetescare.com, and you look at our logo. So our logo is and it's down below in the description, but it's the diabetic ribbons that make a heart, that take the main diabetic symbol, and in the middle that's is a U.S. flag, but below that it says love, hope, family.
That's right.
And the reason why I put that in there, that's really our mission, is that we give patients more love, that gives them hope for a better day, more time with their family. How do we do that? It's a time stamp of care. Right now, a diabetic in the westernized system will sit out in the waiting room for 2 hours.
2 hours.
Easily.
Woo.
I mean, sometimes more. Maybe if a real efficient doctor's office, they'll get them in quicker.
That's right.
But even if they get them in quicker, they'll sit in the waiting room for another half hour, so it doesn't really matter. We get patients in, we schedule our patients accordingly so that we can spend on a new patient that walks into our center the first time. Now, this is our center. We're fortunate in East Tennessee to have a 15,000 square foot center, everything under one roof for a diabetic. So those patients that live in East Tennessee get the benefit of this, but they get an hour to an hour and a half visit, their first visit, sometimes 2 hours if they need it, from a history and physical side. We're basically giving that diabetic more care in their first visit than they've gotten 10 years of being a diabetic.
Wow.
That's guaranteed. What happens there? You get to hear every question that the diabetic has. You get to answer every question in your best ability.
That's right.
But what you're really creating is a family hook environment, from the standpoint that the diabetic says, you know what, they really care about me and my diabetic process and what I'm going through. One thing about diabetes, it creates like a brain fog, where it honestly creates anxiety and depression. And a lot of diabetics think that they're the only ones in the world that have diabetes, and they're out there alone fighting this process because maybe they might be the only one in their family. And then guess what, if somebody else in their family that's close to them becomes a diabetic, it's almost like they champion that, because it's like, well, hey, we're all diabetics. Hey, I've heard so many people go, man, I'm doomed to have diabetes because my grandmother had it, my mother had it, my uncles and aunts had it, blah, blah, and it's genetic. And I'm like, that's foolish.
That's a lie from the evil.
Once again, diabetes is not a genetic. It's not a genetic. Now, you have genocodes get turned on or off. There's more people that are susceptible to diabetes, but it's not a genetic disorder. I can tell you that. It's hey, guess what? If grandma and great grandma and mom and all the aunts and uncles are eating processed rich foods, and that's what you grew up eating, well, yeah, then you're going to turn on your genocodes to be more susceptible to diabetes, but it's not a genetic disorder.
So true.
Yeah.
So there's hope for you. Like, even if your mom had diabetes and you feel like there's no hope for you, you're eventually going to have it, or you may even have it today, go get checked out, but don't necessarily prescribe to the script that's going to be handed to you. Go get educated. Don't get frustrated, get educated. Now, going over to the app,